Peace to everybody. Y'all come on in. Let's have a quick discussion. Peace Almighty. Islam fam. Peace Almighty. Mr. Williams. Thank y'all for tuning in this morning. Gotta get some gas. Let's go ahead and get started because I'm behind today. I gotta get home and finish working. But a brief discussion on the diversity of your thoughts. What's happening, Marcus? Diversity of your thoughts. Hell, I don't even remember the title. What was the title? Diversity of your thoughts. Oh, diversified thoughts, magnified God. Yeah. And I was trying to scribble something real quick. These quick points I wanted to bring up. See if I can remember them. Just about consciousness is represented in levels. Okay? There are levels to it. And so one misconception is that when one decides to label oneself as being conscious, it can take on the same frequency as joining a new religion. But that's neither here nor there. So everybody's going to fall where they fall. But I think the point that's important to make is that when we look at from an occult standpoint, and a Gnostic standpoint, we see the world as a debauchery. And it being something that has to be overcome. Now, that even has to be put into its proper context, because you can run the risk of becoming very negative and delusional in a way, not understanding that the Gnostic expression of the impiety of this world is not. You got to understand what the real point behind that is. It's not to say, "Oh, to hell with everything," man, this is terrible, da 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 da. No, it is to introduce you to an awakening of understanding that there's something more and beyond this, and that this is not real. It is a simulation that is to help you become something greater. That's the real emphasis behind the Gnostic thought. Okay? Now, with that said, when we consider the idea of revelation or the end of the world, it is not the world in its totality. It is the end of your world. It is the end of your existence in this particular simulation. It's like when you're playing a video game and you're trying to get to another level. And you have to keep going back, and repeating this level until you can beat whoever the nemesis is at the end of this level. And when you beat that nemesis, you then go on to a more difficult level, or you go on, you graduate to another stage in the game. Your incarnation, our incarnation into this is like being at a certain stage in a video game where you're trying to get past this, whatever this thing is you got to overcome to break through. Now, what we got to understand is that a person's age does not necessarily reflect their wisdom. It might reflect their wisdom of how to live in this, but it does not denote their cosmic wisdom. I'm under the belief that souls have different ages. So your child, this might be your child in this incarnation, but that child might be 1,000,000 years older than you, if you want to even use that type of calculation. Okay? So when you see certain people whose minds can't stretch, who it's like a tape recorder going over and over and over the same old stuff. Now, they may attach to the moniker of being conscious, and they might have some degree of consciousness or awareness that there's something more than just what they've been told. But that does not mean that that soul is still very young. It might be that this, just in this incarnation, as far as they're going to get, is just some little initial awakening that says, oh, there's something more. And then they're going to think like a child. A child figures out one little thing and think they've got it all. Then that might be what this whole incarnation is going to be for them. They're going to get some initial degree of consciousness, and that's it. Now, that's why we have to not be so hard on people who are still under some type of religious faith. Because although some of us may be so-called awake and aware, you're not much farther ahead in the game than that person who's still going to church every Sunday, because the diversity of your thoughts equals the magnification of your godhood. So if you have gotten introduced to one thing or one way of thinking, and you're still not pushing the envelope, you don't really have much room to talk about the person who's still praying 5 times a day, or the person who still goes and attend Bible study on Wednesday night and pay their tithes and offerings. Because you may not worship the pastor anymore and Jesus, but you worship your favorite whoever. I was watching Savior's Day, and I was watching how the Nation of Islam flock, the way that they respond to Minister Farrakhan like he's a god. Not just a god as in a god amongst gods, but like a demigod, and my first thought was, it's like they worship him. Then my wisdom kicks in. I say, no, people are where they're supposed to be. And if people worship someone or some entity or whatever, then that's as far as they're supposed to go in this incarnation. I've never been able to do that. I guess that's why I've never joined any group. Because you pick a group and I'll show you how they venerate a certain person as if this is their Messiah. Which is nothing wrong with that if that's where you at. But the problem comes in is when you're in that paradigm and you go to other people as though you've got the answer, and they ain't gonna make it if they don't join up with your way of thinking. Now we got a problem. Now we got a problem, whether that's a Christian, a Muslim, we got a problem. It's okay to stay in your lane, but when you actually think that your way is the way, now you're showing how young you are spiritually, or the fact that maybe you're running the game. Damn. So just as a display of your spiritual or soul maturity is your ability to allow people the space to just whatever they into. It's an equal show of respect for people who are into something, but I guess if they're that locked down into a particular group, they're not gonna if they had the ability to respect everything, the totality, then probably they wouldn't be locked down into a group. Guess you got to consider that. So I just want to lay that groundwork for those who are looking for the Holy Grail, though. Oh, let me say about the Savior's Day thing. I noticed, it was a great speech. Minister Farrakhan said, I'm not a boy, I'm not a little Negro, I'm a young God. And I guess that was awesome. You know what I would like to hear, though? I would like to hear, and maybe I've missed this, maybe it's been said. What if you ever got up there and said to the people, you are gods? But then again, we cannot put the onus on Minister Farrakhan, or for that matter, T.D. Jakes, or Creflo, because you know what? For finding God. And as long as you are dependent upon somebody to bring God to you on a platter, well, you get what you get. But for those who are looking for the Holy Grail, let me give you something to chew on today as it relates to diversified thought, magnified God. A study was done about the taste ability, and it says that taste ability is a measure of the variety of things you taste, not simply whether you are genetically predisposed to enjoy certain flavors, as in the cilantro example, but also whether you are able to perceive certain flavors. This is a complex process that includes your tongue and is intrinsically linked to your sense of smell. I gotta wait till I get to another red light. But I want you to definitely hone in on this. I should have just waited till I got to the gas station. But this is measuring your ability to detect different flavors. Okay? And it says studies show the greater the variety of your genetic taste ability profile, the less likely you are to develop tooth decay. Whether that's because more variety leads to fewer sweets or whether there are other reasons is not yet clear, but scientists are continuing to study the connection. Now I want you to really think about what I just read to you. Your ability to detect different flavors, okay, coincides with how susceptible you are to developing tooth decay. Now I want you to take that from oral health and I want you to apply that to um, your consciousness. Now I just was talking about people getting locked into a certain paradigm, right? And I was alluding to just, a person having a closed mind. If your mind is open and you are constantly digging, then that means that's the equivalent of having diversified taste buds. See? And bacteria is what causes tooth decay. So bacteria eats away at your enamel and breaks down your teeth. Well, bacteria also can develop in your brain and eat away at your brain. So we could make a connection then that having diversified, that just as to having diversified taste buds that can taste different things, having diversified thought will prevent your brain from decaying. See, so much emphasis is placed on, oh, now I'm conscious. Oh, I just, I bring it out, and this and that. I don't have to think. That is one, I feel like it's a cop out, okay? Because every tool that you were given down here was given for you to use it for your ascension or for your becoming. So to discard something that you have, to me, is either it's being lazy or it's an oversight, or it is a lack of confidence in your ability to think. See, we don't put enough emphasis on critical thinking. I see stuff all the time and I'm wondering, like, wait a minute, critical thinking really ain't nothing but common sense. If you really want to break this down. Yeah, I mean, you ain't gotta have no PhD from a university to use critical thinking. Here's my thing. I say I've got a undergraduate degree in journalism from the University of Texas at Arlington, right? But I have a PhD in critical thinking and common sense from Sandra Robinson and Henry Robinson University. That's where I got my PhD. Like, hold on now. Some of this stuff don't take no rocket science. It's just about paying attention. Diversify your thoughts. Magnify your God. Closed-mindedness is the most detrimental thing to you elevating and growing and becoming whatever you're supposed to be. So that's what I meant by, if you find yourself in the company of any person or people who, and here's another example where you have to be paying attention, and you notice that this person's conversation is like a broken record, the same basic stuff over and over, then you got a problem. You've got a problem that needs to be addressed, as in you have an infection around you. That just the equivalent of bacteria in the mouth. You've got bacteria in your surroundings, and you need to clear them out, because bacteria causes decay, and bacteria does not stop. The only thing that bacteria stops when bacteria is stopped by something else, as in you have to kill bacteria. It just ain't gonna stop on its own. So if it's toxic people, no, I'm not advocating you go and do nothing to nobody. You kill them by killing your association with them. You kill them by not being around them anymore. Because ultimately, bacteria is nothing but energy, right? So the energy field of those people tear down your energy field. Diversify your thoughts, magnify your God. Now we see how that works with your teeth. Once again, this book right here, Science of Your Cells. Let me see if I can find where this was. She's in here. She's talking about cancer. But I wanna read something, because she talks about how your cells have a little hidden network called the cytoskeleton. Okay, and it holds everything together through something called tensegrity. That means there's a balance of push and pull going on within, even down to a cellular level, well, even down to a quantum level. There's tensegrity exists, but on a cellular level, it's definitely there. But there's something I wanted to read out of here. Let's just look at this about closed-mindedness, how it plays out even on a cellular level. There's so many examples in here. I want to find one. Bear with me. Tensegrity refers to any physical structure that stabilizes and supports itself by balancing opposing forces of tension and contraction. Structures are stabilized mechanically by balancing internal and external forces. But hold on, let me get to how. Let's just go to where she talks about the when she talks about cancer. Cell tension and shape orchestrate life and death. Living cells do either. They either reproduce or they mature. They make copies of themselves or grow up. All reproducing cell exercises genetic intelligence only to make another cell. It doesn't produce the resources a mature cell does. The mature cell engages a different set of genes to provide for its livelihood, and it does not reproduce. The hidden strings and fabric of the cytoskeleton regulate all of this. Now let me skip down. If too many cells are competing for the same space and resources, genes that trigger duplication are turned off. Cells may even turn on self-destruct genes. Consider that cells choose to sacrifice themselves for the benefit of the community to make room. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's go here. Talking about cancer, letting go. Uh, and until the summer of 2010, I saw the letting go process mainly in cellular, psychological, and metaphorical terms. Then I met someone who led support groups for people with cancer. In our discussions about cells and healing, a new possibility in letting go arose. He told me about people who he's worked with whose cancer healed or went into remission when it shouldn't have. The common factor he observed was that they'd let go of something big. Diversified thought, magnified God. If you're letting go of something, okay, the old saying, I cannot teach you Zen until you empty your cup. When you let go of something, you are making space to receive something new, right? So they're saying here that with cancer, they're not saying this is the end all be all answer to cancer, but it's saying that there's evidence that when a person's mind gets into the mind frame to let go, that on a cellular level, it then releases some of the tension, because the word cancer means crab. It grabs, grab. So if you have a cancerous cell and your mind is in that mode, you're feeding into the cancer. So they found a connection between a mind that just lets go, and it sends the message to the cell to let go. Diversified thought, magnified God. Cells attached with extreme tension keep making the same cells. Closed-minded people keep creating the same reality. Cells attached with extreme tension keep making. The more attached and tense we are about something, the more we make the same thing, the same mistakes, the same program, body, mind, and cell. Unable to get free, we are forced to repeat the same old stuff. My extreme mental tension about not having enough, not being good enough, the whole knot of knots, may hold me attached to that position. What if I finally let go of not enough? Will my body and mind allow me to receive a different message? Would moving my body through the different cellular states help me release the old pattern? A diversified thought, magnified God. Oh, that's enough out of that book. I got to get out of here and pump this gas. Yesterday was a marathon for me for a live, so I can't do that today. But damn. Oh, okay, there we go. But I wanted to leave you with that. Just something to chew on, something to think about. Just guard against, as best you can, being one track mind, one trick pony, closed minded, and feeling like you've got it, and this is where I need to just, I'm gonna roll with this and I'm gonna shut everything down. God is vast. So when you put yourself in a box, you put God in a box, and God becomes is handicapped. God only constricted itself so that it could expand through you. So peace to the gods. Thank y'all for joining in. Stay down till you get up. When you get up, stay down. Brother Jamal, peace.